I'm John Hargrave. It is my privilege to be the president of East Central University. Is anyone happy to be here today? Thank you for joining us for the 2013 East Central University commencement. This will forever be the class that came and persevered through the rain, the sleet, the snow, and the hail. Perhaps they'll go to work for the post office. But persevere they have. It's been a long finals week. Thank you, faculty. Congratulations, graduates. It is a tradition at East Central to honor special guests. Today, I would like to recognize as ECU special guest anyone who has come from overseas or another country to be with us today. If you have come all the way from another country to be here, would you please stand and let us recognize you? If you are an alumni of East Central University, would you stand so that we may recognize you as well? If you are a veteran of one of our military branches, would you stand so that we may thank you for your service to our country? And finally, I'm going to say to our students, if you have a parent, a spouse, a child, a grandparent today, I ask those people to stand. Students, find your family members and thank them for putting you through college. East Central University is recognized far and wide for having the most caring, nurturing faculty and staff of any college in the United States of America, and I mean that. Would the faculty and staff please stand so that we may honor you? Thank you. Will the distinguished guest on the platform please stand as I introduce you and remain standing? And will the audience hold your applause? Let me repeat that one. Hold your applause until all have been introduced. On my far left, Dr. Mark Hollingsworth, Professor of Music, Dean of the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, and today's announcer. Dr. Bruce Weems, Professor of Physics, Dean of the College of Health and Sciences, and the Senior Faculty Member at East Central University. Ms. Phyllis Danley, Director of University Advancement and Executive Director of the ECU Foundation. Dr. Adriana Lancaster, Interim Dean of the Graduate School. On my far right, Dr. Dwayne Anderson, Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs. Senator Susan Paddack, our commencement speaker today, who will be properly introduced shortly. And Regent Connie Riley, whom I will fully introduce in a moment. Let's thank these platform guests for coming. You may be seated. Regent Connie Riley comes from Okemah. East Central University is governed by the Regional University System of Oklahoma, and Regent Riley is one of the 9 regents that governs our university. She is among the most active regents of any of the 9. She is geographically assigned to East Central University, and she attends virtually every event this university puts on. She told me when I became president she would come if I asked, and come she has. It is now my pleasure to introduce our Regent, Connie Riley.
I want to thank you for allowing me to be just a small part of this major accomplishment in your lives. I want to say congratulations to each and every one of you who will be receiving a degree today. Serving on the governing board for this great university, I can assure you that your degree will serve you well. I can also assure you that President Hargrave and this outstanding faculty and staff have you prepared to face the challenges that await you. There's an old saying that says, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're probably in the wrong room. When you start to enter your profession or whatever you plan to do, graduates, after today, I encourage you to do it smarter. Work a little bit harder. Take a little more time on that project. Do the job just a little bit better than even you think it should be done. Stay a little bit longer. If you do that, I promise you, if you do it day after day, year after year, you will distinguish yourselves and you will be rewarded. Money is not the sole indicator of your success. But as Zig Ziglar said, money's right there with air on the gotta have it list. So I encourage you to distinguish yourself. I also encourage you to be smarter in your personal lives. Don't be afraid to take a risk. Put yourself in situations that are outside your comfort zone. Become involved in things that you normally would not. Community service, civic organizations, the arts, whatever. Make sure that you extend your boundaries. And I also encourage you to do well. Everyone here today wants you to do well. But that's not enough. You also need to do good. Remember to be kind. Remember those who are less fortunate than you. Remember to do the things that are easily forgotten, like just saying thank you. As President Hargrave said, you can begin by thanking that parent, grandparent, or anyone who paid tuition or did anything to help you graduate. Theodore Roosevelt once said, anytime you're in a position that you have to make a decision, the best thing you can do is the right thing. The next best thing you can do is the wrong thing. But the worst thing you can do is nothing at all. Graduates, it's now your turn to leave here and do something. Do it well and do it smarter. Again, I want to say congratulations. Thank you for having me here. And remember, once a tiger, always a tiger. Thank you.
Thank you, Regent Riley. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce our commencement speaker, Susan Paddack. Senator Paddack was elected in 2004. She is over District 13, which includes Pontotoc, and portions of Garvin, Seminole, Hughes, and Pottawatomie County. Susan Paddack's accolades take pages, and we would be here till this afternoon if I reported all the things she's accomplished. So I'm going to forget my notes and tell you some things. She is the hardest working state senator I've ever seen. She has the greatest passion for education of any of the state senators I've seen. She is a graduate of this university, and she has been named to so many awards, including Top 50 Women in Oklahoma. Please join me in welcoming my favorite state senator, Senator Susan Paddack.
Well, good morning. It may be cold outside, but do you feel the sunshine and energy and happiness in this room? Absolutely. I couldn't help but just beam as I saw all of our graduates coming in today. In 1993, which seems just around the corner for me, but as I looked at this and was preparing my speech, I realized it was 20 years ago that I sat right there in one of those seats, getting my master's degree in secondary education. And being the first in my family to get to go to college, which is probably like many of you, to have both a bachelor's and a master's degree is quite a privilege, but I can't tell you what it means to be able to be here with you today as your speaker. I want to thank East Central University for this invitation, and I also want to thank President Hargrave for allowing me to be here today. So graduation day, did you ever think it would get here? It seemed like a long way, but it's here, and it's a great day, and truly one of life's milestones. So let me add the congratulations that many have already given you. Today represents the pinnacle of your achievements thus far, and that indeed is cause for celebration. It's what I call a proud parent day, and President Hargrave has already recognized your family and friends who helped you to get to this point. But I want you graduates to look around the room because everybody here is proud of you. We have looked and watched you grow and get to this point, and I know that you have looked forward to this day for many years as you read those textbooks, wrote papers, and studied for tests. And it's a great day for Oklahoma because your success means success for our state. We need more college graduates in our state to achieve the prosperity that we desire, and that is why we are so very proud of your accomplishments today. Research shows that the average college graduate makes $1 million more in his or her lifetime, so you've invested well in your future. But your graduation is not simply the ending of one chapter in your life, it is the beginning of the next exciting chapter. We need you to be lifelong learners, and I will share compelling evidence of why that must be the case. But first, I want to share a few thoughts. It's been 20 years since I've gotten my master's, and so hopefully I've learned a few things that I want to share with you today. I'm going to call these the 5 steps for setting yourself up for success. First and foremost, know and believe in yourself. That's what it took to get this degree and to be here today. Believing that you could do the work and then working hard to get it done. But you will be tested as you go forward. And all along the way, you must also know yourself. Know what your values are, what you stand for, and let them be the moral compass that will guide you through difficult decisions and challenging situations. If you stay true to your values, your life will be filled with infinite possibilities. The second thing I would say to you is set goals and plan ahead. It is certain if you don't know where you're going, you're already there. You must have a vision or a goal and pursue it. Former Governor George Nye said right here at East Central University, you can go where you want to from here. I like that because it means you become an artist, you can become a musician, a lawyer, a neurosurgeon, a CFO of a major corporation. By golly, you can even become a state senator or a governor, as George Nye did. About a year ago, I had the pleasure of hearing Thomas Friedman. I hope you read his book, The World is Flat. He had some great advice that I think is appropriate for you as you set your goals. He said to think like an immigrant. Think about how immigrants came to our country in the early days, and they had this hunger for making a better way of life. I think that's appropriate to you to always have that hunger for that better way of life as you set your goals. He also said to think like an artisan, because what artists do, they always put their initials in it. So he said to figuratively carve your initials in all that you do, showing the pride for what you have produced. He also said to think like Silicon Valley, always being in beta mode, a work in progress. Now more than ever in this changing world, you have to continually remake yourself with new skill sets. And he also said, be so self-motivated, so passionate that you create or invent a job for yourself. We see that happening all around us. And he also said to think like a waitress, because his favorite pancake place, the waitress always comes up and gives him his pancakes, and she says, I gave you a little extra fruit. So he says, think about that extra value you can add to all the things that you do. And while setting your goals, I would say to you, never become complacent. Rise to new challenges every day. Let today's accomplishment be the start of many to come. In the book Good to Great, Jim Collins states that good is the enemy of great. This means that we should strive every single day to do or be better than we are today, continually striving to be all that we were meant to be. I recently attended a banquet. It was one of the Women of the Year banquets, and Liz Murray was the speaker. She's the young woman whose story was chronicled in a Lifetime story in a book entitled Homeless to Harvard. She was the daughter of parents who were drug users, and she told the story of how they lived from month to month on welfare. When her mother died at 15, Liz realized that she needed to get back in school, which amazingly ended up with her attending Harvard University on a scholarship, helped by one of her teachers and her own determination to make a life for herself. She said some words that I thought were very powerful words to live by. She said, never let what you can't do get in the way of what you can do. But goal setting must also be imaginative and creative. Dare to dream and be one who can think outside the box. Our future depends on those who can come up with new solutions to our challenges. Einstein said, imagination is everything. It is a preview of life's coming attractions. And speaking of imagination, did you know that Oklahoma is the only center of creativity in North America? There was a conference last month in Oklahoma City that had 1,400 people from 5 countries and 29 states. It featured many ideas from native Oklahomans. So our state is a great place to work with others in an innovative and creative atmosphere. And just one example is the 13-year-old whose sister was selling what he called girly scented candles. He decided that wasn't so good, so he decided to make candles and scents that men would like. Things like New York pizza, bacon, and even sawdust. He also made them business-friendly by using recycled paper for the labels. He took his money and he bought soup and he fed it to the hungry in their homeless, in the shelters for the homeless. He then used those soup cans to make more candles and put the wax and scent in those. For $100 in just a few weeks, he had already made $5,000 and donated 30,000 meals. So if a 13-year-old can do that, I ask you, what great ideas might you have for your future? The third thing I would tell you is to be thankful. And Regent Riley, I said to her as she made her remarks, you gave the shorter version of my speech, but we're on the same wavelength. Always show your gratitude, pay it forward. You are where you are today, not just because of your hard work, but by the sacrifices made by your family and friends. I'm asking you, as Regent Riley did, to take that being thankful to the action stage by being sure you say thanks to all who help you. I love the quote, what you do is how you make a living, what you give is how you make a life. To do for others is to add a richness to your life and to our communities because there are so many needs out there. Whether it's someone who needs a big brother or sister, someone who needs a hot meal, someone who needs a foster home. Find those needs and make a difference through your gift of time and talent. And on a personal note, even a small thing can make a difference. This Thanksgiving, my children both had to work. They're both residents in medical programs. And my husband and I were feeling a little blue as we drove into the Starbucks drive-through lane. When we got up to the clerk said, the lady in front of you bought your hot chocolate and coffee. It was a small kindness, but on a day that we needed a little boost, someone stranger was there to help us. And so, of course, we kept it going and we bought the drinks for those who were in line behind us. So remember, those small kindnesses pay huge dividends. The fourth thing I would say is to be a truth seeker. In today's fast-paced world, you're bombarded with information every day. It's easy to be inundated with so much information that you can't process it all. But you must sort through it, and you must find those nuggets of truth. Our very democracy depends on that. Without the truth, you cannot make good decisions. You are our future leaders. Think and question, do your homework, make your decisions based not on what you think is the truth, but on what you know is the truth. Anything less is unacceptable. Lastly, I would tell you to be that lifelong learner. You must become this to succeed in your future. The average person changes jobs 10 to 15 times during his or her career. And with all those changes, it means that you must continually amass new skill sets. These skill sets must include technology, no matter what field or career you wish to pursue. Now, many of you in the class of 2014, actually it's 2013, excuse me, I got a year ahead, didn't I? Many of you don't remember ever living in the world without cell phones and home computers. If you do, it certainly wasn't for very long. Those of you who were born after 1980 are known as millennials. And according to Pew Research Center, you are history's first always connected generation. Did you know that the smartphones that we all carry today have more computing power than NASA used to guide the Apollo missions to the moon in the 1960s? That shows just how far we've come. Technology is advancing almost exponentially every single day, and you must be ready for it. A few weeks ago, Amazon created a stir when they announced an ongoing research and development project, octocopter drones that can fly packages directly to your doorstep within 30 minutes of placing an order. Critics have pointed out there are a lot of potential problems that would have to be worked out for it to become doable and viable. But the head of Amazon predicts prime air delivery by drones will be a reality within 5 years. If you think that sounds too much like science fiction to be real, look at what Google is doing. Google has a fleet of self-driving cars. Computers control the speed, braking, lane changes, turns, everything, with no human being behind the wheel. So far, they've logged 300,000 miles without a single accident. Nevada, Florida, and California have already approved licensing of these vehicles for testing purposes. And if that wasn't enough, there's Google Glass. These are glasses just like regular glasses, might be like glasses I have on today, that basically allow you to be online all the time. You can even search the internet to Google someone you don't know as you're being introduced to that person. Now that's technology. You can also take video and take pictures. All these things are already in place, so think about what your future is going to hold. Phrases like internet, email, Googling, Skyping, social media, even virtual reality, they're all now part of our vocabulary in our day-to-day lives. And then there are those computers in our laptops, desktops, smartphones, but also in our appliances, cars, and in aspects of medicine. Tech watchers tell us to be ready for computers that are actually a part of our clothing, which can constantly monitor our vital signs. At the first sign of a heart attack, those computers will be able to contact first responders and get help on the way before you or anyone around you can even respond. So, safe, self-driving cars, drones used to deliver goods, clothing that can alert you and medics to an emergency are all proof positive that our world will continue to change and change faster than we can imagine. So what does this mean for you, graduates? Again, I think it underscores the need for you to look at the achievement of today as the start of your journey to be a lifelong learner. You should be prepared for and embrace the idea of learning as a lifelong process. It means you will be better prepared to adapt and compete. You will have greater employment opportunities, greater job security, and personal health and growth if you're a lifelong learner. So today I want to close with a story. I believe it's the essence of what I've tried to share. And it goes like this. A group of graduates, well established in their careers, were talking at a reunion, and they decided to go visit their old university professor, now retired. During their visit, their conversation turned to complaints about stress in their work and lives. Offering his guest hot chocolate, the professor went into the kitchen and returned with a large pot of hot chocolate and an assortment of cups. Porcelain, glass, crystal, some plain looking, some expensive, some quite exquisite, telling them to help themselves to the hot chocolate. When they all had a cup of hot chocolate, the professor said, "Notice that all the nice looking expensive cups were taken, leaving behind the plain and cheap ones. While it is normal for you to want only the best for yourselves, that is the source of your problems and stress. The cup that you're drinking from adds nothing to the quality of the hot chocolate. In most cases, it is just more expensive, in some cases even hides what we drink. What all of you really wanted was a hot chocolate, not the cup. But you consciously went for the best cups, and then you began eyeing each other's cups. Consider this," he said. "Life is the hot chocolate. Your job, money, and position in society are the cups. They are just tools to hold and contain life. The cup you have does not define nor change the quality of life you have. Sometimes, by concentrating only on the cup, we fail to enjoy the hot chocolate that is provided to us. So the moral of this story is, as you go forward in your life, remember to stay true to who you are, set meaningful goals for yourself, be grateful for what you have, always seek the truth, and forever be that lifelong learner. Because if you do, you will always stay focused on what is most important in life, and your hot chocolate and your future will be ever so wonderful. We look forward to seeing all your successes in the future, and for today, we say congratulations on earning your diploma. We are so very proud of you. I wish you Godspeed in all you do, and I want to thank you again for this very special honor of being here on your very special day. Thank you, and God bless.